All right, YouTube. This is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Listen, they have just started the O Block trial, and we're gonna take a look at what's out there already in the media, and I'm gonna react to it. You know what I mean? Or give my commentary or my version. You know, in social media, you find a lot of people that they kind of feel some type of way dissing O Block or you know want the O Block, to go to jail. But you got to realize in this situation, everybody was involved and playing a part in a demise and what happened. But we're going to do a reaction to this video here. He's going to tell the story, then I'm going to step in on and give my opinion. It's for fair usage under 1976 copyright law and educational purpose and commentary.
And widely discussed topic in the world of hip hop currently revolves around the upcoming trial of a group referred to as the O Block 5, although it seems there might actually be 6 individuals involved now. These individuals are linked to the O Block faction of the Black Disciples Street Gang and are allegedly responsible for the murder of the renowned Chicago rapper FBG Duck, who was associated with the Gangster Disciples. The O Block crew is known for their ruthless and uncompromising behavior, making the prospect of them facing trial, despite what appears to be an overwhelming amount of evidence against them, a noteworthy event. Just examining their musical catalog alone, specifically the songs created by members of O Block, could be sufficient to lead to significant legal consequences for them. However, the trial promises to be a captivating spectacle. The trial for the murder of FBG Duck is expected to shed light on the intricate connections between Chicago's street gangs and the rap scene. These links have been meticulously documented in various media outlets, including blogs, YouTube channels, and online forums. The story starts with the murder of O.D. Perry in August 2011. Perry was killed near the Parkway Gardens housing complex in an area that later became known as O Block in his memory. The Black Disciples gang faction adopted the O Block name, and this coincided with the rise of Chicago's drill rap scene, which included artists like Chief Keef, Lil Durk, and King Von, who aligned themselves with the O Block faction and mentioned Perry in their music while dissing the rival TKville Gangster Disciples, who.
Now I want to say this: he is giving you his opinion because he's already talking about how ruthless they are, and you know he's really putting the disparagement on them while he's telling his story. But you got to remember, guys ain't been found guilty of nothing.
Were suspected of killing Perry. O.D. Perry's murder has remained unsolved, despite intense debate and various theories. FBG Duck responded with a provocative song called Dead Expletive, which targeted Perry and other fallen O Block members. Less than a month later, in August 2020, FBG Duck was tragically killed in a daytime shooting outside a store in the Gold Coast neighborhood of Chicago. The trial of 6 reputed O Block members and
They always try to link the situation to that particular song, Dead Bees. You know what I mean? If you ever heard the song, it's definitely a scathing attack on O Block. The guys from Parkway Gardens. You know, and then they did document and video record so much of what they were feeling and what they was expressing that they really want to use their lyrics to prosecute them as if they don't have a First Amendment right to say whatever, because what they seeing in the trial, because of mask and the camera, it's not catching everything with the cars they said they got on there. They really trying to convict them in public opinion through media. That's why they paint the narrative. But listen to the story and you can see if he knows all this or it's just something he It's his opinion. Let's
and
look.
associates, most of whom are lesser known rappers, is set to take place in the Dirksen Federal Building in downtown Chicago. They face charges related to racketeering and murder. The individuals facing trial include Charles C. Murder Liggins, Kenneth Kenny Mac Robertson, Tate Carlos Losoffer, Christopher Siang Thomas, Marcos Mupe Smart, and Ralph Torrey Turpin. Another suspect, Zell Mona, is mentioned, died by suicide. The trial is anticipated to reveal not only the inner workings of Old Block, but also the connections between Chicago's street gangs and the rap music culture, a relationship that has been extensively documented over the years. The case
They saying it's been extensively documented, but they basing it on prosecution allegations against rappers such as YSL, uh, K Flock out of New York or whatever. This is another level of the censorship. Like you can't say certain things about certain people right now, or you'll be canceled. This is the flip side of where you got to watch what you say because, like it says, it will be used against you.
has garnered significant attention, especially due to allegations that King Von, an alleged O Block leader whose real name is Devin Bennett, ordered the hit on FBG Duck. Robertson, one of the accused, told a cooperating witness that he
McLaren Medicare is your choice for value. McLaren Medicare plans include access to an extensive network of doctors, hospitals, and specialists. There are no deductibles and no primary care copays. And out-of-pocket
participated in the shooting because King Von had allegedly ordered the hit. The trial is expected to be a spectacle, but it's essential to consider the perspective of the jurors, who might not be familiar with the intricacies of Chicago's drill rap scene. For those of us who have followed the ongoing feud and have been exposed to the music and debate surrounding it, the trial holds a particular fascination. However, for an average juror, the case might appear bewildering and alarming, given the level of violence and gang activity involved. A key piece of incriminating information pertains to an individual who purchased custom necklaces from members of the O'Block gang. Prosecutors have highlighted that King Von disbursed a staggering $128,000 to procure diamond-encrusted O'Block pendants from an Atlanta-based jewelry store. He retained the largest one for himself and distributed the remaining ones to fellow gang members. Remarkably, there's even a video available on YouTube showing King Von designing and trying on various pendants. It's noteworthy that Icebox has been implicated in this case as well. It's important to note that King Von ordered most of these pendants before FBG Duck's tragic murder, but did acquire some of them afterward, according to the prosecutors. Some have argued that the timing of the pendant orders isn't indicative of any.
I want you to listen to the key point he's saying. He's saying, according to the prosecutor. According to the prosecutor.
As they were placed before Duck's death. However, from a legal standpoint, the sequence of pendant deliveries doesn't absolve King Von and his associates. They were still planning harm against Duck and actively contributing funds to their hit squad. In essence, their actions and intentions matter more than the timing of the pendant orders. This case has seen its fair share of self-incrimination.
Oh, let me interject something on a personal level. A lot of my subscribers they ask why I don't use StreamYard, which is the software that creates your background or whatever. This old school blogging, I prefer that you see and you watch with me in real time. You know what I mean? This is why I use the laptop as I pull it up and you see when we react in a reaction video, you seeing what I'm seeing. You following my train of thought. You know what I mean? I think it's more personal this way. You know what I mean? This is not Hollywood. This is blogging.
The O'Block gang's penchant for sporting matching chains that bear the names of those they've avenged, while it may symbolize respect, also links them directly to the very actions they rap about in their music. This level of self-exposure makes it
I'm gonna stop right there and I'm gonna let you hear the rest of it. There's no way he could substantiate what he just said that those chains that Von bought before FBG Duck's passing There's no way that that could link him to anything or them to anything as it relates to buying jewelry. They was all rappers.
It's challenging to evade the scrutiny of law enforcement. A witness also pointed out King Von as the assailant responsible for the murder of Jakira Key Barnes, a female gang assassin suspected of killing O.D. Perry, who was a close friend of King Von. Tragically, King Von himself was fatally shot outside an Atlanta hookah lounge in November 2020, just a week after the release of his debut album, Welcome to O Block, which achieved significant chart success. Another rapper, known as Lil Tim, faced charges related to King Von's killing, but the case was ultimately dismissed in June. In conclusion, the case involving King Von and the O Block gang is replete with compelling evidence and circumstances that warrant meticulous legal scrutiny. The explicit self-incrimination through conspicuous jewelry and public personas has made it difficult for these individuals to escape the reach of the law, and the consequences of their actions continue to reverberate through the rap and gang scenes. One of the most dangerous groups of killers in the United States. Once you see what's in these two heavy-duty totes, you'll feel safer when the next disaster rolls around, because you'll know where you can get a survival food stockpile that's meant to last. These states is at the center of this case. The notion that a fair one-on-one fight was possible is absurd, given that there were 6 armed gangsters ready to open fire right behind him. It's just not a realistic scenario. Dirk Banks was a prominent figure in Chicago's drill rap scene. He had earned 3 Grammy nominations and released 2 chart-topping albums in recent years. His presence in the industry was so significant that he performed at the halftime show of a Chicago Fire FC versus Inter Miami FC game at Soldier Field. His influence extended to the point where Mayor Lori Lightfoot attended a charity event hosted by King Von in February. It's worth noting that both Lil Durk and King Von faced attempted murder charges for a shooting incident outside an Atlanta restaurant in February 2019. However, Lil Durk's charges were dropped in October 2022 by Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fannie Willis. Interestingly, Willis had also filed a racketeering case against Atlanta rapper Young Thug and his YSL crew, drawing parallels with the O Block prosecution. The suggestion in the Chicago Sun-Times article is that Lil Durk, known colloquially as Durk Rico, might also be implicated in similar legal issues. His close association with Mayor Lori Lightfoot raises questions about whether such high-level connections could potentially shield him from a RICO charge. However, his music and public statements continue to align him with a culture that boasts criminal activities, leaving room for potential legal consequences.
He's alleging all this. I be wondering how much law enforcement really plays a part in the industry. I'm not talking about just with the snitching, but I'm talking about with the covert operations infiltrating, planting agents within their circles. You know what I mean? It's deep because they allege that Trenches News got caught up in that. You know what I'm saying? Trenches News is a blogger that came that got involved with the federal investigation on O Block, and he was blogging from somewhere else, allegedly.
Lil Durk and his brother, Dante Banks Jr., are mentioned in recent court filings related to the FBG Duck case. Though Lil Durk isn't explicitly identified, his brother, Dante, is indicated as a high-ranking Black Disciples member associated with the Lamron faction, which collaborates with O Block. This aligns with Lil Durk's known affiliations and aspirations, such as his desire to purchase the sprawling Parkway Gardens housing complex, even though such plans were ultimately dropped. There are concerns that the explicit content of a rap song's lyrics and music videos could be used as evidence during the trial. Some argue that mentioning these artistic expressions in a court setting could be prejudicial. However, prosecutors contend that they intend to utilize only a brief clip of the video and a few still images from the music video to establish the artist's affiliation with O Block, the existence of a criminal enterprise, the gang's racketeering activities, and his connection with Marcus Smart, also known as Miwop. The contention here is whether rap lyrics should be admissible in court as evidence, a point that has sparked debate in various.
I mean, it seems like they're messing with First Amendment here, because what do you think about when Bob Marley said, "I shot the sheriff"? You know what I mean? But I didn't shoot the deputy. It's art. But I can understand with drill, they walk a fine line between self snitching and rapping, but you know, they still have rights.
Various legal cases. While it's fair that an artist's creative work should not be unfairly weaponized against them, specific references to real criminal activities and detailed descriptions of violent acts may carry legal weight. As the trial approaches, prosecutors have succeeded in securing the anonymity of the jurors due to the significant publicity surrounding the case and the potential life sentences that the defendants may face if convicted. This precaution is taken to ensure their safety, as these old block members are not to be taken lightly, and there are still many of them out there. In this case, we are dealing with one of the most dangerous groups of killers in the United States. It is
Now look, he just put that picture out there with all these different brothers. You can see Moo Wop in there, E Dog, BJ, Gleesh, Los, and a few more I don't know. If you follow drill culture, and you interested in this, you'll know who those guys is with Vaughn. But with this O Block trial, they keep putting Vaughn out front, even though he's deceased, because his notoriety is is attached to all the members that's on trial or all the members in this picture. Because why would he just say what he said? Nobody's in that whole picture has ever been convicted of that kind of crime. Nobody in the picture.
crucial that we ensure the safety of jurors and prevent any interference with the legal proceedings, as these gang members have shown their capacity to harm and intimidate. Prosecutors have highlighted that discussions and speculations about FBG Duck's murder continue to thrive in online platforms and communities dedicated to dissecting the Chicago drill music scene. These discussions involve dissecting rivalries, criminal activities, incarcerations, and even allegations of snitching in various criminal cases. One forum singled out in the court filing is the Chirac Times, also known as Chirology, where these discussions are prevalent. The increased online scrutiny and media attention heighten the risk that juror names might become public knowledge, exposing them to potential intimidation, harassment, or even physical harm. This concern is valid, considering the history of such forums revealing personal information. Steve Greenberg, the attorney representing Kenneth Robertson, argued against keeping the jurors' identities secret, deeming it unnecessary and extreme. He claimed that there have been no threats and that media coverage of the case has significantly decreased. In response, prosecutors argued that, at the moment, there are no jurors to threaten, and they cited recent news coverage, including a documentary episode, likely referring to hip hop homicides, to demonstrate the ongoing interest in the case. Meanwhile, the online community, including rap bloggers, continues to produce content related to the upcoming trial. Chicago rapper Capone, in a YouTube interview, described the prosecutor's handling of the case as eye-opening and reminiscent of television shows like Law and Order. He pointed out the gravity of such legal proceedings, drawing from stories he'd heard growing up.
You might wonder why, you know, I think a lot of people that's in my age group, they don't see the value in understanding what's going on with these young people. You know what I mean? These young people, they're changing laws that affect everybody to bring these young people to heal. You know what I mean? It's like they exist in another world separate from what you may call mainstream, but these are somebody's kids. These is real human beings. You know what I mean? And disparagement on their names and character about this gang situation is astounding. And you always got to realize and think about with FBG Duck, and you see his mother, and she's adamant about how they should pay. He was a willing participant in this self-destruction culture that they got in Chicago. You know what I mean? He signed on for that. His mama signed on for that with him. You know, so you got to really think about the attack that they're really making on Oblak as a gang and using Rico. You know what I mean? Have you noticed they're starting to use Rico more directed toward young black males in the rap industry? You know what I mean? Maybe they brought a lot of that attention on themselves, but they're changing the laws. You know what I mean? They're changing the laws, and we're not paying attention.
The trial has commenced, and although we have limited new information, it's clear that this case will be closely monitored, and the verdicts are anticipated to carry severe sentences. The prosecution is determined to secure convictions for these high-profile crimes, and it's expected that their extensive evidence will play a crucial role in the outcome. The safety of jurors remains a top priority due to the potential risks associated with this case.
Well, my reaction to this is people are making a lot of assumptions, and they talk as if these guys are already guilty. You know what I mean? Like they all five of them or six of them are already guilty in the eyes of the public because of the way the story is being narrated. But for people that follow drill culture and they understand the intricacies of what was really going on with these brothers in Chicago, know that it's not that cut and dry. You know what I mean? It's not that cut and dry because you look at any conflict, there's winners and then there's losers. But when you volunteer to play this game, you can't cry about it if you lose. You know what I mean? And it looks like a lot of people on that side are cheering for the prosecution. You know what I mean? Because I guess that's the ideal of justice now. You know what I mean? So we're gonna follow the case and we're gonna keep looking at what be out there. You know what I mean? So we can react to it and have some other type of dialogue and other narratives as it relate to what's being shown to us. So signing to you out of Detroit. Peace. Keep your head on the swivel.